Junaid from DSC KIIT, and I'm back with another video in the C tutorial series. This is the second part of the arrays video. In this video, we will be talking about character arrays and multidimensional arrays. So let's just begin with character arrays. So the question of character arrays comes from this idea that how do you print multiple characters. So for example, if you had to print the text, say apples, what you could do in a very naive way would be you could do something like this: character say a of app alias, that's 6 words, is equal to a p p l e and s, and you could print this using a for loop. That's fine. So say int I equal to 0, I less than 6 and I plus plus, and then you could do printf %c a of I, and let's run this. gcc arrays.c, it would work fine. So you can print strings as multiple characters, but in C there is a shorthand to do this. So instead of doing it like this, you can do something in a much direct fashion. So char a is equal to apples, and then to print it you can use the %s format specifier and then just pass a. This will work exactly the same way our for loop works. So if we compile this, printf, it works the same way. But one key difference here is that this is a string literal and not a character array. It is a character array, but it has a size of, as you can see, it has a size of 7, because every character array that is defined with these double quotes ends with a /0. It ends with a /0. This is called the null termination character. So this printf, when we try to print a string and we put percentages, it kind of works like this. So it, like, while say let's do this, int I is equal to 0, while a of I is not equal to this, printf %c a of I and I plus plus. So that would work the same way. Apples. So this is what actually happens behind the scenes when we do printf and we put the %s format specifier. You can use this shorthand to use strings in your C programs. The convention to input a string is actually the same. So you can do, say, char b, say 100. Here in A we skipped the part of mentioning the size because the compiler automatically does that, because we are initializing it at the same line. Here, because we are just declaring the B array, we have to mention a size. So you can do something like scanf %s and B, just B, not and B, because this will pass the pointer to the first element of this array. We will learn about this in character strings and pointers. Just keep in mind, you don't have to put an ampersand when you're trying to input a string. And then you can just printf b. So if we compile this, I'll put in my name and I get the same output. There is another function called as puts. It stands for put string. You can just use that also. The advantage of using puts is that it appends a new line character to the end of any string you pass. So if I run this now, it will because we did not specify a new line here, that's why it just appended, and we did not get a percentage s here, as you can see. So if I do something like this, you'll realize it will print the thing twice and will add a new line. There are a lot of complicacies and in various things you have to take care of and various type of questions that you can encounter. We will look at that part in character strings, which will be a video that we will put in the series later. Now let's move on to multidimensional arrays. So regular arrays that you declare, so say int a is equal to 10, are single dimensional arrays. C has features that can let you make multidimensional arrays for something like a matrices, or the very standard textbook example of a multidimensional array is a matrix. So you can do something like this. So say a 3 by 3 matrix. To declare a 3 by 3 matrix, you put in this code. We have to put the dimensions in, we have to keep putting the dimension in square brackets. So 3 by 3 matrix would be declared like this. To take input for this matrix, you can do for int I equal to 0, I less than 3, and we have to do two nested loops. So that's what I'm going to do. J less than 3 and j plus plus, and you can do a scanf. I and j. So this will go through all the combinations of the 9 elements of this matrix, and at positions I and j we are going to store those. To print the values, it's actually going to be a very same procedure, only the scanf will turn into printf, and we have to remove the ampersand. And I'll put in a new line here, and I'll add a space here. So let's run this. Say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and it will print the same thing. You can use this to input and output multidimensional arrays. Now this matrix may seem a little bit unrealistic. A very realistic example of a multidimensional array is an image. So an image, say if you have a 32 by 32 image, technically that image has 3 channels, that is R, G and B. So a real image could be specified something like this: int image, say 32 and 3. Oops. So that could be the representation of an image at a very low level when you're trying to do image processing or something like that. I think that's all for the basics of multidimensional arrays. You will find problems like how do you do a transpose of an array, but most of the time it's just a trick of the nested for loops that you can use to manipulate these multidimensional arrays. I think that's all for this video. In the next video we will be looking at some problems using these concepts. Feel free to try different things with multidimensional arrays and character arrays. We will go over the character arrays idea in a later video called character strings, where we will use different kinds of memory allocation techniques to store strings and manipulate them. So I'll see you in the next video.